What's up, guys? This is Chris here, and today we're going to be talking about 5 guns that I will not be shooting on the channel anymore. For one reason or another, I don't want to shoot these guns anymore, and I'll explain each different reason as we go through the guns. This isn't a hate video. They're not terrible guns. They're just not good enough for me to shoot anymore. Before we get into the video, I do want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. It's because of you guys we have guns and ammo and cool shit to shoot on the channel, and if you want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. Just go to the link in the description below. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter named Iowa. It's the YSS. Those kids could really use your help, so please go down there and donate to those kids. With that being said, let's get right into it with number 5, which is a very cool gun, but also a very disappointing gun, and that is going to be the Arsenal Strike 1. Now, I still have the Arsenal Strike 1, even though I don't really plan on shooting it anymore because it looks cool, and because once upon a time, I thought it was going to be the best gun in the industry. This is one of the most difficult full-size guns I've ever shot. I can be wrong. I'm going to be honest with you. However, there's been some updates, and we'll get to that here in a second, but the Arsenal Strike 1 is essentially a very unique pistol with a very low bore axis using the Bergmann system. So it's a little bit different than the Browning system, and it has a little bit different recoil and pulse because of that as well. Very, very innovative ergonomics and very forward thinking, however, just not executed very well by the company that it was made by. A lot of controversy with this and the Russians, and then there's some accusations thrown around, and there's a lot of controversy around the people that made this pistol. Now, it's an interesting gun, not because of that, but because of the engineering that went into the gun. Back in my day, guns were steadily getting lower and lower in bore axis, and we thought guns were getting faster and faster. And this is a polymer frame gun, just like a Glock, that has the lowest bore axis and has some features on it that I was very excited about. We have a front fiber optic with a black rear with 2 dots on it, which is better than your average Glock, and it's sort of what this was competing with when it came out about 10 years ago. A little bit longer slide, very, very interesting trigger system. And then it obviously had all the hype behind the gun because of the video Larry Vickers did with the Russian Special Forces, where they were rocking this pistol and then everybody wanted one, including myself. Fast forward a couple years later, I finally got one of these, threw it on the channel, and I found out looks can be deceiving. It's not very reliable. It's not very accurate. The trigger kind of sucks. The recoil and pulse is okay. It's certainly not a CZ Shadow by any means. And the overall performance was pretty rough. A few years later, they entered the Archon Type B, which is like the 3rd generation of this handgun right here, where they fix almost all of the issues that not only they put in this gun design-wise, but the actual production and the execution of the gun was much better. So the reason why I'm not going to shoot this gun anymore, even though I still have it, is because it sucks more than the Archon Type B, and the Archon Type B is the gun this always should have been, so it stays on the shelf. In at number 4, with great regret, the Beretta single action pistols. Now, this is a cool gun. Don't get me wrong. This is Beretta Corsa. I was very excited about this gun. I basically bought this gun to put on my wall because it looks sick, and it sort of looks like something you'd see in the 90s. There was a slew of 90s action movies where they had comp Berettas, and I always wanted one of those. And finally, I have one myself. Now, not only did they comp the gun right out of the factory, but they added Beretta's optics mount. They added the cool gold trigger. They added the awesome marble looking grips on there, and some go fast features that I really like. The downside is that it has the same ergonomics of the Beretta single action only and the Beretta Cheetah, which for some reason or another, I just cannot shoot. I love the Beretta M9 series. I love the M9A3, the M9A4, but these guns, man, in order to shoot these guns, it makes me bleed every single time because of the sharpness of the safety on the back of the gun and my big dumb hands, and for whatever reason, they're the most uncomfortable guns I've ever shot. All 3 of them. They're all good guns. They all were reliable and accurate in our testing, and I do like the Beretta design, and I love how they look, but I won't be shooting these anymore just simply because all 3 versions that I got had this same safety issue where it literally smoked my hand until I was tired of shooting it. And I have lots of other guns that shoot similar, if not better to this, that I can pick that don't fuck my hands up. So even though I like how this gun looks, it's very reliable, it's very accurate, I don't like the way it feels when I shoot it, and I don't really like the recoil and pulse on top of the fact that the safety hits me on both sides. Now, the Beretta Cheetah is the worst offender of this, and it's because it is the smallest version of this, and the beaver tail actually angles down. And for people with big hands, that is a nightmare. You can see my hand absolutely consumes that beaver tail, and every time I shoot it, that thing pokes me, and I'm just not doing it to myself anymore. In at number 3, we have another good gun, and certainly a respectable gun, but not a gun I'm particularly interested in, and that is going to be the original FN Reflex. Now, the FN Reflex I would consider to be one of the better Micro 9 pistols, to be honest with you. One thing I really like about the FN Reflex is that I really like the texture on the gun, and I really like the sights, and honestly, one of the better sighting setups on a Micro 9, although I'm not the biggest fan of Micro 9s, and that's coming from a guy, I've done maybe 15,000 round reviews of Micro 9mm, so I have a lot of rounds on micros, and I can tell you there's a lot of shortcomings in them that I don't really appreciate, and there's only really 2 or 3 that I actually like. One of those obviously being the Shield Plus. It's very, very easy to shoot. The trigger's great. The recoil impulse is awesome, and it takes away the one thing that I don't really like about the micros, and that's being a very snappy recoil impulse. So snappy on the Reflex, in fact, that I don't really like to train with it. Now, on top of that, it probably has the worst trigger between this, the Sig P365, and the Shield Plus, and honestly, the Glock 43X as well. So the trigger kind of sucks. It's a little snappy, but it's a reliable gun. It's an accurate gun. It looks good, and it's very small, and it packs a decent capacity. However, for me personally, I'm not going to shoot anymore because I got the XL. And the XL is bigger, and I like it better. And you'll see that on the channel here pretty soon. But I've always erred towards slightly larger guns just because I'm a larger guy. And if you have bigger hands, most likely you're gonna like bigger guns better. And in this case, I just prefer the larger version of this better. And if I'm gonna go with a Micro 9, I'll pick a Glock, a Sig, or an M&P over this gun. So there's no real reason for me to have it other than review purposes. Cool gun, just not for me. In at number 2, this is not what I would consider a good gun, but it's an okay gun. Okay-ish. The Taurus TH9.
Oh.
And then the other shoe drops. Now, the Taurus TH9 is certainly one of the most affordable guns that you can buy on the planet, somewhere between $100 and $200. And what you get out of the deal is a full-size double single action polymer frame pistol, which is versatile. I mean, you could carry this gun, you could use it for a home defense gun, and honestly, with double single action, you can shoot it in competition if you dare. This particular version of it, I shot on the first shots, and then we shot a little bit afterward, and we sort of use it as a trainer pistol. The reason why I have this as a trainer pistol is because of the double action trigger pull is maybe the worst I've ever seen on a handgun. This is a somewhere between 12 and 14 pound trigger pull. This is the gun that I had Bubba train on. And if you guys saw Bubba in fall, and now you see him now, he shoots about 10 times better. And the reason why that is because of consistent dry fire with a double action pistol. If you use a striker fired gun, every time you pull the trigger, you have to run the slide. It's kind of a pain in the ass. It doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're doing 1,000 dry fire reps, it's a lot easier to just pull the trigger and pull the trigger again, which you can do on a double action trigger. On top of that, if you are aiming at your light switch in your house and you pull that trigger, it's a lot harder to keep that front sight in between the rear sight on the target when a trigger's heavier. Just like the philosophy of lifting weights, the harder it is in practice, the easier it is in the game. And in my case, this is why I keep this gun for dry fire practice. But I probably won't shoot any live rounds for it anytime soon because honestly, it kind of sucks. Now, there'd be some honorable mentions for this video, but I couldn't list 15 of them. So we'll get right into number 1 with not really a specific model, but more of an overall series. And that, believe it or not, is going to be the Sig 320. Now, I'll probably shoot a couple of Sig 320s here and there again, just because they're one of the most popular pistols in the country. But all of you know that I do not like the gun. I didn't like the gun when it was released before the military got it. I didn't like it after it was the M17. I didn't like it through all the drop safe issues of 10 years ago that everybody forgot until like 2 weeks ago, I guess. I also didn't like the fact that the gun has a very clunky recoil impulse. I don't like that it's a striker fired gun that doesn't have a trigger safety, to be honest with you. I don't particularly like the broomstick ergonomics, and most of all, I don't really like Sig's social media calling out a whole bunch of people that may or may not have had issues, liars and anti-gun people and things like that. So not only do I not like the gun personally, I don't really like the way the company has treated their customers, to be honest with you. On top of that, the Sig 320 sits in the most stacked bracket in the history of handguns. It's not as if the 320 is a bad gun. It's an okay gun, don't get me wrong. People have won world championships with it. If you watch Max Michel shoot it, it obviously can do okay. But for me personally, I feel like there are just so many better guns, slightly better guns, like the Walther PDP, for example. The PDP has a better trigger, the grip feels better, it's overall more reliable. And I know you guys say, I have 10,000 rounds through my Sig 320 and it's never had a malfunction. I believe you. Sure. I have 10,000 rounds through Sig 320s as well, and I've had a gang of malfunctions. Now, on top of the 320 being a good gun, just not a great gun, as I said before, it's stacked in an entire litany of firearms that are better. There's an M&P series that you could get for literally every size that can cover anything the Sig 320 can cover. The Glock, PDP, the VP9, the Canic series, and on it goes. And if you're looking for guns with fire control units, which it is very cool that it has a fire control unit, you can get the Beretta APX and many other guns that you can get and use the fire control unit that you don't have to worry about potentially shooting you in the dick. The gun itself is just steeped in controversy, and the reality is it's an okay gun. Overall though, I feel like the Sig 320 is just not good enough for me to continue shooting on the channel, and honestly taking just shitloads of flack from not only Sig, who sent me emails, but all of the lovely Sig fans as well. There's just so many good guns in so little time. Why waste it? Do you have a few guns that you own that you just don't shoot anymore? And if so, let me know in the comment section below what those guns are. Also, if you have any bad guns that I haven't shot on the channel that you want to see me torture myself with for your amusement, let me know. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please stop by Oklahoma shelters and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.
Hey guys, Lorraine, Mrs. Honest Outlaw here, and today I have a request for you that is a little outside of the norm. Today I am talking on behalf of my best friend Brittany and her brother Ledger. Ledger is 16 years old, and for the second time of his life, he is battling leukemia. Only this time it is much more dire. Ledger needs a bone marrow transplant, and they're desperately looking for a donor for him. If you feel called in your heart to join the bone marrow registry to see if perhaps you could donate bone marrow to Ledger, the link is in the description below, and we would be so honored and thankful for you considering being a hero for Ledger.